Hello, everybody. I'm Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. And you guys gonna love today's guest. So this guy comes in from Europe. So he comes from a I gotta tell him where the country is later. So he comes in, has a hotel background. Okay. Not only that, he has amazing insights on hospitality leadership. Love that about him. He has a background on team building and he has some invaluable professional looking lessons he's going to share with us today. So with that, I want to welcome Mustafa to today's episode. Mustafa, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Christian. Thank you for inviting me. How are you doing?
So I let you tell where you're from and everything. So for the next few minutes, just help our listeners understand a little bit where you're from and what you currently do.
I'm from Turkey. I would love to mention that, like my career growth for a bit. I'm from Turkey. Started in the hospitality business in very early age, um, with independent hotels and restaurants first, and then I jumped into luxurious environments with Kempinski Hotels and Four Seasons. And then I seen some leadership goals or gaps or management gaps in the industry, and thought that maybe I would be a good fit in the leadership in the hospitality industry. In my one of the years in my early age, I jumped into consulting business. I started as a
Yeah.
freelancer and then um, launched my own consulting agency back in Turkey to help restaurateurs and food and beverage businesses in general to thrive their businesses. And then COVID happened. We tried to survive, but after 4 years, I just decided to move to Canada and do my job here. So now I have two startups. One is an AI-driven restaurant management system to solve the back-of-house problems in restaurants, and then the other one is my old business back in Turkey, which is a consulting business. We are just launching it here. Basically, end-to-end solutions with data-driven insights for restaurant businesses.
I love that. By the way, Turkey, if any of our listeners ever have the opportunity to go to Turkey, it's an amazing country. Food is amazing. It's beautiful. It's safe. But if you go there, make sure you stop in Austria first, okay? Before you go to anywhere else in Europe, you make sure you stop in Austria. So,
For sure.
Mustafa, a little plug, okay, for Austria. So, by the way, I love your background. So you in hospitality. So let's take a step back because one of our things with the disruptive chef is that we want to have people like you where our audience can say, hey, I was in that situation. I know exactly what he's talking about because that's what I felt. Oh, I went to a different country, and all the things you just mentioned, by the way, which is amazing. So our audience loves that kind of stuff. So we want to make sure that we kind of bring some good nuggets for them on how you got there. So you in your beautiful home country, okay? You had worked in the hospitality field. So where did the whole AI thing come from? Where did your business not kind of business niche, but where did all of that come from? So talk to us a little bit. How did this all start? And what was for you the beginning where you felt, hey, I need to do something else?
Well, actually, as a restaurant consultant or in general hospitality consultant, I was dealing with systems in restaurants and hospitality businesses already. So,
Yep.
at the old times, we were all solving that problems with creating manual systems by hand, but by using Excel or maybe like some spreadsheets or maybe even just paper and pen, which is so hard, especially in that age because everything is automated. And also that creates a perceptional gap in our customers too because they face with
Mm,
all that innovative solutions in all the other businesses in all the other fields that they are related to, but when it
yep.
comes to hospitality we are still old school, so it creates a perceptional gap in our guests opinion as well. So that's why after I explore AI solutions and like I got used to it, I used AI for my own businesses as well, and I said like, you know what, maybe we can just put an AI solution to do all that back of house stuff that's time
Okay.
consuming and we do in all day-to-day operations. That was my main motivation actually.
I love that. And we got to get to AI later because I'm a big believer. If you don't kind of get to know AI now, you are falling behind because it's
Oh,
amazing how fast it's
definitely.
going. And especially seeing what came over from China. So, but I want to go back. So, hospitality requires a deep understanding on not just operational, but also people management. And you talk a lot about leadership and that stuff. So, talk to us a little bit. Where did that come from?
Actually, it was always inside within me. I felt that when I was a little child, my friends were playing with like toy cars and like dolls, but I was playing as a marketsman, trying to sell a cheese to a customer, like a ghost customer. So it was always within me. But when I grow up, I had to work in the field in my very early age, and then I really loved the industry, and my brain started to work that like I always have a critical opinion about things. That's one of my characteristics. So after I started to and loved the industry, I started to see the gaps and main challenges that many managers fails in day-to-day operations, and that that ignited me to do some impact in the businesses actually. And also, I have a motto that, Shams of Tabriz, there's a quote of
Yeah.
him that says, if you think like my life is going to go upside down, don't worry, because how do you know the downside is not better than the upside? So I always believe that. Um, and I always have challenges. I put myself in uncomfortable positions. When I first started to or decided to have a leadership role in the industry, I didn't have enough experience for many of the people, but I believed in myself, and now here we are.
Yeah, I love that. And when you talk about leadership, and leadership for me has really two or three components. So number one is the things you do on a daily basis. Then for me, I think it goes a step deeper, and that's, hey, this is what I do, because people learn by seeing and doing. And then, which goes even deeper than that, is this is what I honestly believe in is the best for what I want to do. So for me, leadership is one of those things. And leadership, people believe, hey, I'm a guy with a title. People need to follow me. They follow you because they have to, not because they want to. So talk to us a little bit. How are you currently looking at leadership, and what are you currently doing to actually bring leadership to the next level?
Well, I mean, I think there are two types of leadership. One is forced leadership, that which comes with a title. So someone gives you a title, or you have a title, and people follows you, which is by force. So it's, I think, inevitable to fail. It's gonna
Hmm.
fail sooner or
Yeah.
later because you're gonna lose that title, etc. But if you're a natural leader born inside, you have the characteristic with an entrepreneurial mindset, that changes everything. That changes the universe around you, like how the universe around you works or turns. So I believe in natural leadership to understand, to show how you understand people and how you acknowledge that. Actually, those are my main points when I lead a team or lead a thing, lead a project. Not it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be a group of people, and lead a project as well. It's because there need to be an empathy, there need to be acknowledgement, there need to be ignition, ambition,
Mhm.
and communication skills. But by that means, it's not like communicating about the day-to-day operations or what you do next. It's all about the
Mhm.
engaging with the humans, with the people in your
100%.
team, with like, or you engaged. So
I
I
I
feel
love
like
that. I
natural
love that.
leadership is having the natural leadership skills is crucial when you're
Yeah.
leading or trying to go above and beyond.
I love all of the things you just said. And for me, I think you said it perfectly. With leadership is it's a personal thing, and you leading, you have an impact on other people's lives, in a greater way than you actually think you do. So that's for me number one. And then also, I love what you just talked about, that it needs to be you, because if it's not within me, I need to learn it. Because other people will know that and they see through that. And I honestly believe if there's one thing COVID did, it kind of gave us a radar, a bullshit radar. and people know exactly when it's like, oh, I heard this before. He's just, kind of bringing some stuff up which he heard somewhere. But if it comes from within you, it's different. And for me, that's what I love around leadership, and I'm really big in leadership, and I love it, the way you described it. So it makes a lot of sense. So you in hospitality, you in leadership. So where did the whole entrepreneurial thing come in?
It was already within me too, because as I mentioned, like I have a critical approach to almost everything, myself as well. When I see myself in the mirror, or when I think about my thoughts or my beliefs within me inside, like
Mhm.
in my me time, I always criticize myself as well. So I think that's the main stone. That's the main stone of the entrepreneurship, because if you don't see the gaps or failures or
Mhm.
challenges, you can't create an answer or a solution for them. So I was always the guy who sees them first and criticize them, and then thinks about them, takes his time, and then comes up with a solution. So that's how I started. And I have a childhood friend, Hassan. He's a successful entrepreneur. He's in Lithuania right now.
Yeah.
He leads seen a short movie company called Cineshort. He had a huge impact on me to enter the entrepreneurial lifestyle, because he started first and then I followed him, and we grieve each other with our thoughts in that process. So I was lucky as well. It's not just me, but him as well.
So I love all of that, and you make it sound so simple. So if you are working in the hospitality field currently, and to our listeners, which feel like, oh my God, that's exactly how I feel. I feel like I want to do something else. I know I can serve my community in a greater way. So talk to us a little bit about that. Where was the first time you thought, oh, I want to go out there and do some stuff on my own? And how did you decide and narrow it down, say, hey, I want to do this and this? Because there's a lot of our audience here. There's probably 50, 60,000 people, which will feel the very same way you do. So talk to us a little bit. When was the first? Where did it come up? And then talk to us. How did you find out this is the things I want to do, and this is how I want to serve the community?
Well, actually, I was thinking to open a restaurant before I started to do restaurant consulting.
Mhm.
And I really tried hard to open the restaurant, but financial issues and like the situations in Turkey and all the, how can I say, the competitive environment that just took me apart from my goal. And
Yeah.
then when I was thinking about my goal, like how am I gonna do that, because it was looking so hard, I said, like, look, wait a minute, if I can open my own restaurant, I can open some other people's restaurants too, and I can lead them because I have it inside in me.
Mhm.
Because open a restaurant or like manage a restaurant is like all about details, like even from the scratch, like how the architectural design is going to be, and the recipe costs and the standard recipes, how am I going to manage my staff, how much cook do I need, how much do I going to pay them, etc. So if you can think all of that for your own restaurant, you can think for some others too. So that's how I started to think or imagine about the consulting business, because I knew that there was a huge gap in the hospitality businesses
Yeah.
that needs to be covered, or that needs to be repaired. Because, like we have really good establishments or brands, but maybe almost only 10% of the all the industry components or all the other brands. Other 90, or let's say 85%, in a positive way, 85% are just regular,
Mhm.
and um, just with ambitions. They built just with ambitions without any intelligence or knowledge behind it. So that's why there's a huge gap in the industry. And I was believing myself to solve the problems comes along with it. So that's how it started. It's pretty simple, but I know that like most of the people in the industry are thinking the same way, because it's a linear line that we all walk together.
Mhm. I love that. So you think about that, saying, "Hey, I want to do this, and I'm gonna go and do it because I know I'm good at this kind of stuff." So how did you find out? Because I honestly believe that the reason so many entrepreneurs fail is because they don't have enough clarity around what they want to do. You seem very clear on what you want to do. So, talk to us a little bit. You said, I wanted to do the restaurant. It didn't work out. So, I knew I wanted to do this. So, talk to us a little bit more. What was the thought process behind it? And how did you wind up doing what you do today?
Well, actually, it's the sea cannot be quiet before the waves. There needs to be waves first. So I was the rock in the shore, welcoming the waves, and that waves shaped me, shaped my form, and then
Mm-hmm.
made me who I am today. It was so challenging for me, especially in that early age. I was like 18, maybe 19. So in that early age, it was really challenging to see the clarity. But I think the one thing more important than the clarity is consistency, because we cannot be clear all the time, as much as clear or as expected, because there are so many external factors that dirts our minds, or disrupts us, or does some other things that takes us away from our dreams or our thoughts. So the clarity is one thing. Yes, there should be some clarity within the person, within the one, but
Mm-hmm.
also there should be a consistency, because we may have a really clear mind with a linear thought process, but if
Yeah.
you're not taking the action, taking the first step, it's not gonna work out anyway. So I
Yeah.
wasn't clear at first, but I just said like, okay, I'm just gonna start and we'll see. If I fail and I learn. If I don't fail, best of the two worlds. So I took the action, and actually it made me clear in my goals, because I took the action and I failed and I seen the challenges and I had to deal with them, because I already signed the contract and I didn't want to go and sued by some
Mm-hmm.
investors who are trying to open a restaurant, and I had to deal with it. I had to solve it, especially during COVID. Believe me, like
Yeah.
all the costs were raising in Turkey, just like all around the world, and all the supply chains are just disrupted, and there's nothing that you can hold, because all the restaurants are closed. But you need to find a way for your community,
Mm-hmm.
for yourself, and for your brand as well, because there are people working with you and expecting some payments, paychecks at the end of the month, and you have to pay them. So after taking the first step, it all comes out. It's like the
I,
mystery unfolds after you take the first step. That's what I believe.
I, so, to our listeners, I want you to go back 3 minutes, because there's a few things you said, and you made it sound so simple. Hey, that was me. The waves coming, the waves shape me, and because for me, there's one thing. If anybody is currently in the industry that's saying, "Hey, I want to do something else," I love what you said, because I was in the same boat. Because what I'm doing today is not what I started 5, 6, 10 years ago, and we kind of evolve, And for me, and I see it in you. You serve your community the way they need to be served, and you have the background from what you did in the hospitality industry. You let the not just the industry shape you, but what you did. Because for me, if somebody feels like, and that's to all of our audience out there, if you feel like you want to do something different, do it. And not just do it. Don't just go all in. I mean, if you can and you can afford it, it's great. But start it part time, start it as a side hustle. Because what you just said is exactly what we preaching all the time. Start, because whatever you will do 5 years from now, it looks a lot different than you have today. And for me, I spend a lot of time, a lot of effort in saying, hey, this is what I want to do, but I'm doing something totally different. And I hear that was the same thing with you. So I absolutely, absolutely love that. So, and I hope our listeners need to go back and listen to that. So you have now that focus on business development and revenue management. So talk to us a little bit on how do you balance growth within not just what's going on in the industry, but this high guest experience. And you talked about it earlier that you need to have a good experience. So you have that idea, you're doing it, you're refining it. So now talk to us. How do you manage it? And how do you have that balance from business development and revenue management? and taking the balance over in a very high level expertise and then a high level industry.
Well, I mean, it's all about the creating experience, as we mentioned before, because if we don't have the feeling of human being or the sympathy to our guest, we can't
Mm.
create experiences for no one, not for our team, not for our guest, or not for ourselves, because otherwise it's gonna seem like a prison for us to go to that office or to go to that place to do the same things every day, which is what industry is pretty much. So
Mhm.
I think having the feeling of human being and create like showing the sympathy to all aspects of the industry is crucial. But also the systems. Creating the systems is so
Mhm.
important as well because our industry is all about details. There are so many small details that we need to keep track and we need to focus on, we need to solve on, and it's a fast-paced environment in hospitality businesses because we have to deal with the expectations from all parties, momentary expectations every day
Mhm.
in the fast-paced environment, not just guests. Our teams, our suppliers, our maintenance guys, our like everyone in the industry, all every part, they have some expectations from the management because they need some solutions, and you need to give them that. So
Yeah.
creating the systems to do the repetitive tasks or to do the like um, everyday challenges is one of the important part because that office work, the paperwork and analysis and performance trackings, those are all time consuming tasks, and we if we deal with that we can focus on what is important more, which is the creating the experience for all parties.
Mhm.
So for me, when I build a startup or when I manage a food and beverage establishment, I always start from the scratch to create that systems. It was back then with the Excel and some papers and pens and some thought processes. Now it's with AI and some automated tools, which is way more easier and not consuming that much of time. So I think we need to adapt to that. It's always
No,
coming to the same point, but yeah, that's what I believe.
I I love that. So you're doing now what you do, and thank you for explaining that. So now help our audience understand what is your perfect avatar, who is your perfect customer, which you can really bring to the next level, and also somebody they have the same drive within you. They just don't know how to do it yet. So talk to us. Who is your perfect avatar in that perspective?
I'm not sure I understood that though.
So who is your perfect client? So if somebody listens currently and said, hey, I love what Mustafa is saying, who is your perfect client?
Mhm. So actually, I believe there is no perfect client because everyone needs
Mhm.
what I do in some part of their businesses. So I would say the perfect client is the person or is the business who is open to change because we are here to change the businesses in good ways because
Mhm.
the world is changing and we need to adapt it. We need to flow with the change. Otherwise, we are just gonna be standing there and
Mhm.
do nothing, and then like it's gonna be all rusty business that does no good for the community or not even for itself. So, if a business or a person, an investor or an owner. Opens for a change or like for another perspective for another perception, that's the perfect customer because
Mhm.
we believe that it's not convincing people or forcing people to buy or try something. It's creating the value, and we believe that we create the value for our community, for our industry. And if a person is open to change, we are here for them.
I love that. I love that. So my next question for you is twofold. Number one is, what are you working on? Not just your business. I'm thinking you. What are you working on for the next 6 months? And let us a little bit behind the scenes on what you do. And then also tell me the second part of the question is, tell me what are you working on for your business to get to the next level? So, because a lot of our audience, they know they want to do something They don't know how to get there. And, the sole purpose of this is that Disruptive Chef, we want you to disrupt the way you think, and we want you to disrupt the way you're currently doing business, because the problem which got you here is not what gets you to where you need to go. And so having somebody like you, which is, doing a lot of amazing stuff in the industry. So talk to us a little bit. What are you focusing on, Mustafa, for the next 6 months? And what are you focusing on for your business?
First, I'm focusing on my language skills in English. That's for sure. That's my main topic. I work I work hard for that, to understand the English, or the language fully, because it's,
Mm.
like, it's not just about the
Yeah.
being able to do the daily talks, but understand the literature, understand the people's mindset, and um, which always comes with being able to play with the words. So I
Mm.
put most of my effort on that. But other than that, personally, I'm always a person that who thinks the personal growth. I'm in love with philosophy, so I always think and read about the philosophy, try to learn some new opinions, and create my unique opinions, because I yes, for sure, I need to be with the flow, but I have to be a river in that flow, which
Mm.
creates his own way. So that's what I do nowadays. I'm still trying to engage with community, because I'm still right off the boat. Still, my foot are still wet. So trying to engage with community, understand their mindsets, the societies, because it's also important for the industry as well. As an industry professional, I need to understand who I am serving for, what I am doing, and for who.
Mm.
I need to understand that like how their mind works. So those are my main focuses in my personal life. Um, try to Sometimes I try to focus on arts, and some, like, I have an instrument I started to play, so I'm trying to learn that as well. This is all like my personal growth in terms of business and
Mm.
philosophy, and my thinking processes, actually. In terms of business, so everything is changing, and like, we don't have to look back so much in the history. Like, just think of the recent history: first 2008
Mm.
crisis, and then the Arabic Spring, and then the cryptocurrencies, and then Russian and Ukraine and Russia war, and
Mm.
then now and then COVID, and now something else. Like, always there are some
Yeah.
changes all of a sudden. And especially in our industry, there is no smooth transitions. It's always huge impacts or huge changes comes right away. So I think we need to evolve our systems to make that smooth transitions, because it's gonna change every day. It's gonna change every moment. When we think about the recent history, it's always like there's always huge
Mm.
events happening in every 5 years, if not in every decade. So
Yeah.
it's gonna happen in maybe next 5 years or 10 years as well. So, and there will be a huge change if we don't create the systems, or like change our way of thinking. It's gonna change all the things all of a sudden again. So I believe
Mm.
in smooth transitions, working with the flow, going with the flow. That's what I meant. Um, and in terms of my businesses, in a totally new country, totally new society with some different expectations, I have two startups right now. Which one of is AI, the inverse, and the other one is second restaurant consulting, a traditional and a modern, two different business models. I'm trying to find the balance and prepare my businesses for a smooth transition in next huge events makes like huge impacts on the industry. That's what I focus on, because we are just starting, and if we don't put the infrastructure now, I believe it's not going to be good for us and not for everyone. So it's
Yeah.
like a warning to all industry leaders or industry people, that you need to prepare yourselves too, because it's happening every 5 or 10 years, no matter what.
I I love that. So, if you look into the crystal ball, what do you think is coming over the next 2 to 5 years? So, talk to us a little bit where you see the future of hospitality going.
Well, future of hospitality is for sure in the tech. It's not just AI. There may
Mhm.
be some other technological innovations that we can't foresee now because since we are not technology experts, but it's in the tech because the technology or let's say AI makes our lives easier. But also there's
Mhm.
another part of it of the technology that information spreads so quickly,
Yep.
which destroys our perception that we can or consciousness that we can't decide which one is true and which one is not, because there
Mhm.
are lots of information in the social media, especially that we are immersed with them, that surrounds all our lives, and we are just there to take all that information and like a sponge, and we don't know which one is real. So I think being able to um, understand or decide what should we get and what should we avoid, and then taking that knowledge or consciousness to the next level with the technology or AI is going to lead
Mhm.
the future of hospitality, because there are some AI agents right now that's solving most of the front of house problems. There are
Yep.
some tools, back of house tools like us or some other brands in the industry solving the back of house problems, which means that managers will need to be focused on the experience,
Totally agree.
creating the experience,
Totally agree.
because the other things, other parts, taking the reservations, creating the recipes or tracking the performances or the inventory
Mhm.
management, all automated by AI, but the experience, because AI cannot create the experience. Go to ChatGPT and ask it to write a poem. It's not gonna be able to write a poem because it's not what it designed for. So
Mhm.
creating the experience and the showing the understanding of human being is going to be more important. But if there's a tech or like AI solution there, because otherwise we will be diving into all the inventory management as we used to do in the back in the days, and we won't be able to do this because we won't have time to focus on the guest experience. So
Mhm.
that's what I believe actually in future. It's already happening. So most
Yep.
of us are aware of it, but I think some of our people are not understanding the impact or the
Mhm.
importance of AI or the technology in the industry yet. But we all need to be aware of it. It's coming, it's here, it's going to make a huge impact. That's the thing.
I love that. And to our listeners, what he just really said was you got to get into AI because it's coming if you like it or not. And there's restaurants just built on that. And then AI is a tool which can help you do a whole bunch of stuff. So for me, absolutely amazing. So with that, I know I can talk to you forever, but if any of our listeners are interested to learn more about you, where can they find more about you? And we've got to put stuff in the show notes, but share with us a little bit how they can get a hold of you.
Actually, my LinkedIn page is pretty much my life story. So they can just go to my LinkedIn page. We can share my profile URL, and they can
Mhm.
connect with me. I'm always there whenever they DM me or they send a message or invitation. I always respond within 24 or 48 hours. So
Yeah.
it's the easiest way to reach me out. Actually, if someone is more interested with the businesses or what I do, second restaurant consulting or diverse AI, they can just type it on the Google, or they can find it on my LinkedIn page, the URLs and all the company page. They can just take a look at that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. And so, for before we go, what is the final word of wisdom you have to somebody saying, "Oh, Mustafa is talking about all of that stuff. I have no idea where to start with AI." So, what is your words of wisdom to them?
With AI or with the industry or the change? What are we
I,
talking
I'm
about?
I'm specifically thinking AI because it's here, it's happening. There's restaurants focused on that, and there's still people which haven't even looked at ChatGPT. So, where should they start?
I think it starts with acceptance because we need to accept. As a human beings,
Mm,
we are always ambitious to do all the things by ourselves. But it's here and it's making the things easier for us. So if we
mm,
accept that and try to adapt with the technology that we face, it's better and it's gonna make it easier to understand how it works. We don't have to be tech expert and we don't have to worry that it's gonna steal our jobs because it can't actually
mm,
because there's no emotions within it. So it cannot create, especially for our industry. Look, if we are a manufacturer, AI can steal our job because they're gonna just
mm,
manufacture a product and it's just like in a shape, a certain shape and certain amount. That's fair. But in our industry, we are working with human for human. So
mm,
AI cannot steal that. Actually, it can enhance the operations that we do
mm,
because, as I mentioned before for many times, that we need to focus on people, especially the changing generations and expectations. Their expectations are more individual. After COVID, take a look at that. The trends in the markets for last
mm,
5 years. Everything is getting individual and creating like more focused, unique experiences for every individual guest that we have. Because before the restaurantship or the restaurateurs or the hospitality industry was like we serve and they get the service, we decide what
mm.
we serve. But now it's not that. They decide what we serve and we have to serve
Correct.
that, and we have to
Mhm,
put our unique perception or perspective on that dishes or the services to attract them more than our competitors. It's getting
mhm,
more competitive every day, day by day. There are some new actors in the stage to steal our market share. So we need to focus on that experiences and be more human centric in our businesses,
mhm.
unlike
I
unlike the past. So I think enhancing the AI is important on that, and it starts with accepting it and don't worrying about not to worry about that it's gonna steal our jobs because
mhm.
it's not capable of.
Yeah, I love that. That's some really good advice. And to our listeners, if you haven't gotten to his website yet, and if you haven't gotten to his LinkedIn page and say, hey, I need to talk more about you, don't go there, run, because AI is coming and AI is here and AI will change the way we do business today. So with that, I want to say thank you for being here today. Thanks for allowing me to talk to you over half hour. And to our listeners, if you haven't done so, make sure you check out the disruptivechef.com and just let us know, what did you think of today's episode? Where do you feel, where is AI going? How is it going to affect you or anybody in your business? And for us, also let us know, hey, what you liked about today's episode, and let me know what you guys going to do with the information you learned from Mustafa today. So until next time, remember to disrupt your kitchen, fire up your career, stay hungry for change. I'm here with Mustafa Oguz. We are out of here. So I'm the Disruptive Chef entrepreneur host. I'm signing off. I'm out of here. So be the change, be the challenge, and be the chef who sets the world on fire. With that,
Thank you for
Mustafa, that
having
was
me, Chris.
awesome. You gotta do this with us again and talk us a little bit more where AI is going, because I know this is here to stay and I know it will change our industry. So I appreciate
For
you
sure.
being here today. And there's more of his information in the show notes below. And for everybody, just go out there and stay disruptive, everybody. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for the talk. Thank you for having me, Christian.
Thanks for being here.